Hello, that was Holiday Time, number 1 from Travels with My Flute by Tony Cliff. This is the C1 piece of the ABRSM Grade for Flute Exam pieces from 2022. Taking a look at the start of the piece, we are in 4/4 time. We have 1 sharp in the key signature, which could suggest we are in G major or E minor, but we have lots of accidentals such as A flat, B flat, and C sharp that comes and go, making the key a bit fluid, as we expect with the music in the style of blues. The closest traditional scale that correlates to this piece actually is the G minor, but hiding underneath is probably a jazz scale. The G major and the G minor are both part of your grade 4 syllabus, and with the consistent F sharps and E naturals, I'm going to show you here the G melodic minor, where we sharpen the 6th and 7th notes, the E flat and the F, to become an E natural and an F sharp. On the way down, they are naturaled back, but at least we do get to practice the E natural and the F sharp when we're going up. But first, here we have the G major scale. Then here we have the G minor melodic scale. Jazz and blues scales aren't covered by traditional graded exams, so if you're interested, you can find some other resources such as the ABRSM jazz scales if you want to know more about them. The instructional play here is in a blues swing style, mostly meaning that if we are playing 2 quavers in a beat, we play as if the first note takes up the first 2 beats of a triplet and the second finishing off the triplet. It also means that we can take a little bit of liberty with the timing, especially if we have a little solo. Speaking of which, the recommended speed here is crotchet at 120 beats per minute. This piece is in a loose ABA form. You first have an introduction at the start where there are quite a few ties, which makes the rhythm a bit syncopated. Then you have your first A section, where you have an ascent, after which a melody played twice with a little bit of a difference between them, and then ending with a little phrase. Then we have the B section, where initially we play a bit more of a supporting role, and then afterwards playing with the piano together. And finally onto the A section again, having the same notes right up until the end, where the little phrase is an octave higher. We start off the piece with a 4-bar rest, waiting to come in while the piano plays this. So once you hear those two chords, we then come in on the beat on bar 5 with the piano. So here's the demo doing that. The first thing to look out for here in bar 5 is the staccato on the E note on the 3rd beat, as well as the timing on the last note, which ties on to the note on bar 6. In terms of rhythm, since we are playing quavers as swing rhythms, the rest is longer than the upbeat, but tying it to the next note still makes it a crotchet length. The rhythm is similar after with the quaver rest and the B flat followed on by 4 swung quavers. So the rhythm, counting in half speed, is this: 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in full speed on the flute. Then we have an A sharp to a B acciatura, so playing the A sharp as fast as you can before the B note. At the end, we also have a swung G tied to a dotted minim. So putting all of that together in bar 5 to bar 8. Bar 9 to 14 is similar to what we had before, starting off the same, but this time starting off in an MP, crescendoing to an MF in bar 10, where we start to diverge from the first time we played it. We have a similar rhythm to bar 9 in bar 11, but starting on the B flat and the melodic shape is different. At the end of bar 11, we have a new rhythm, where the A flat quaver is swung and tied to a crotchet. After that, it's pretty much exactly the same, except for one of the swung quavers is swapped out for a crotchet. So from bar 9. Onto section A, where in bar 14 we have a crescendoing upwards trend until we get to a forte on the G note in bar 15, where we get introduced to a new melody. Now the low D note could be quite tricky to get, so remember to tongue that D note, as well as turning your flute a little bit towards yourself and aiming your air downwards, as well as having the low speed and high pressure air that we want. Starting from bar 15, the melody is fairly simple, as it is mostly the swung quavers. This is until we get to bar 17, where we have a syncopation with a quaver and then a crotchet, followed on by a semiquaver and then a trill on the next bar. The quaver on beat 3 here is a straight quaver, as are the semiquavers, so normal counting applies. In bar 8 in the trill, we don't have to play at full speed. You can start off a bit slower and then accelerate it for a more bluesy, relaxing trill. So from bar 15. Bar 19 is the same as bar 15, just ending on a crotchet on bar 20 instead of a quaver. The steps after the G is also a new shape, but bar 21 and 22 is just the same as bar 11 to 13, an octave higher. In bar 24, we see the first triplet in the piece, but as we've been doing swing rhythms in quavers, essentially treating them as triplets, this fits in very easily. The rhythm is this, counting a bit faster this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. On this bar, we do have a crescendo here from the forte we were previously in into an MP. Onto the B section, where we play more of a supporting role to the piano in the first phrase and then playing with the piano on the second phrase. On the first phrase, we have 3 trill G minimum notes with rest surrounding them. This would be a good place to start listening to the piano so you know when to come in. Counting is also crucial so that you are playing the correct length and also resting for the correct length as well. So the piano is playing from bar 23 and us coming in on bar 24 after the chord. So when we come in on bar 30 with the piano after the trill, we have a swung quaver and then a triplet with a crescendo leading us onto the forte in bar 31 to 33, which is exactly the same as bar 21 to 23 previously. A return of the whole A section after that, with the ascending bridge with the melody twice as well as a little phrase. Bar 34 to 43 is exactly the same as previous A section, the only difference here is the dynamics. We're slightly quieter here in MF and the second phrase went on MP, which then crescendos onto a forte in bar 41. So going from bar 34 to 43, again watching out for that low D note. And finally, we have the ending phrase, which is exactly the same melody as we have in bar 24, just that it crescendos towards a fortissimo and FF with lots of accents towards the end. The last note is also shorter as it is a swung quaver instead of a crotchet. Do look out for your high notes fingering here, your D and your E. So from bar 44. And that's the end of the piece. Well, that was the tutorial of the C1 piece, Holiday Time by Tony Cliff. This is a very bluesy piece with quite a few dynamics. With the rhythm, once you get the swing rhythm, you're mostly there, but do look out for the tricky bits with the triplets and the semiquavers. One important aspect here is working with the piano, especially in the B section with the trills and the rest. Accidentals and syncopations are the things to look out for in general in the piece, but all in all, this is quite a fun piece to play. Hopefully that was useful to you. I'll put up the rest of the grade 4 pieces soon. Check out the B piece I've done and the other grade 4 pieces in the playlist. Give a like and subscribe if you like what I did here. Put a comment down below if you want me to go over anything specific or if you want to share your own tips and tricks with your fellow viewers. I'll see you in the next video on Master of None. Bye!